So for our final talk of today, I would like to warmly welcome Renu Chaudhary from the Diamond Talk with Renu Chaudhary. She's going to be speaking about jewelry styling masterclass with Renu. So obviously a very important topic. How can we style jewelry? So thank you so much for being here.
Okay.
And the stage is yours. And
1709.
You've got the pointer. Here, yes, perfect.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome and thank you for the wonderful opportunity. It's a pleasure to be back again at Inorgento and talk about my favorite topics as jewelry styling. So, before I begin, just a brief introduction about myself. I'm the fourth generation gem and jewelry enthusiast. I have an experience of working in leading diamond manufacturing companies, and then I started my social media handle in 2018 just out of pure passion to talk about the voice and to talk about gems and jewelry on my social media platform. And after 6 years, we are here today sharing my passion with all of you all in Munich. So let's dive straight into the topic of jewelry styling. So first, I would love to hear from all of y'all, what does jewelry styling mean to y'all? Rather, when you have to purchase a piece of jewelry, what comes to your mind first? Anybody would like to share their perspective? Yeah? An occasion. Yes, an occasion is very important, but besides that, do you first decide on your outfit as to what outfit would you wear and then choose your jewelry, or do you decide on the colors, color scheme, so on and so forth? Yes, these are very, very important points to keep in mind when purchasing your piece of jewelry, but more than that, it's also important to keep in mind about your face cut, because one needs to choose a piece of jewelry that complements your kind of face cut. So to begin with, we're going to start by talking with different face cuts and how each piece of jewelry complements a particular kind of face cuts. So to begin with, I'm going to be talking about an oval cut. So let's see from the audience if anybody has an oval cut. I see this lady behind the camera. Yes, you have an oval cut. So yes. So any inputs that you would like to share with us about what particular do you generally choose when you have to purchase a piece of jewelry?
So as I learned, I think I'm quite flexible with an oval face. I can pretty much wear any shape. But personally, I do like round brilliants the most.
Yes. So one thing about people with an oval cut, an oval cut face generally complements any kind of jewelry that you put on. Okay, but there's certain factors that you need to keep in mind, because an oval cut generally has a certain elongated face. Now, when you need to choose your earrings or your necklace, you want to be careful that you don't add more length to your face, because your face is anyways pretty much long, right? So in this case, you will choose a shorter necklace over a longer one, or you will choose a stud to a small medium-sized earrings. So this is perfect for an oval cut. And moving further, we go to a square cut face. Anybody would like to talk about a square cut? Would you like to talk about what kind of jewelry would complement anybody with a square cut? Yeah? Okay, so a square cut is a one, which has angles. So now when you need to choose your jewelry, we need to keep in mind that I select my necklace or my earring that softens my angles. Correct? So in this case, we will choose long necklaces and earrings that fall just above the chin to balance a strong jawline. It's very, very important, to choose your piece of jewelry according to your kind of face cut. And one thing which we need to avoid, especially when it comes to an square cut face, is to avoid choosing anything that already has angles, because that will make your face look even more angular. So you need to choose your jewelry appropriately. Moving on, we come to the heart shape. Now, a heart shape face, as seen in the diagram, is a one which has a longer and a broader forehead, and it has a narrow jawline. So now in this case, of course, we want to choose a piece of jewelry that will accentuate and balance out my heart shape face cut. So in this case, I'm going to choose a short choker style necklace and teardrop earrings that end just above my chin to create a sense of fullness, because my face is anyways little narrow out here. So I need to choose something that will create a sense of fullness. Yes, and at the same time, let's see what we have to avoid them. What we need to avoid when choosing for a heart-shaped face cut. We need to avoid jewelry that emphasizes the chin or the narrowness of my chin here. Yeah? Anyone has any questions so far? No. Okay, we are good. And next we come to a round cut. Now, round cut face is opposite of an oval cut face, right? Now, round cut generally has chubby cheeks. So when we choose a piece of jewelry for a round cut, we need to select so that it adds length to my face. So now, oval, we were trying to choose a piece of jewelry that does not add length because my face is anyways round. But now for a round cut, I need to choose a piece of jewelry that will add more length to my face. So in this case, I'm going to choose an angular or elongated design to create the illusion of length. Example, like a long earring or a necklace with pointed and geometric patterns. So these were like a brief outline about talking about what kind of face cut should you go for. Like if you have a different kind of face cut, what sort of jewelry, earring and necklace one should go for. So before I continue further, I would just like to add that no matter what your face cut is, a jewelry will only uplift you if you feel uplifted from within. So it's very, very important first, for us to feel very confident, for us to feel very powerful within ourselves. Because if you feel powerful from within yourself, that's when whatever you wear, no matter what face cut you have, it will automatically stand out. Because a jewelry can never complement you, but it's you, your personality, that adds on and complements a piece of jewelry that you wear. So moving on, I'm going to talk about balance and proportion. They say that sometimes less is more. And that's totally true, because if I have a lot of jewelry, that does not mean I'm going to be wearing all at one time. Sometimes less jewelry speaks louder than wearing like a big chunky necklace. So out here are a few examples of balance and proportion. In the first image, we see that she's wearing a beautiful necklace, but she's kept very minimal in the earrings on her ears. So again, it balances, because anybody admiring her, the attention will only go on a neckline, versus had she worn something very long for a earring as well, then the attention gets divided, like between the necklace and the earrings, because there's a clash going on, at that certain point of time. Next, of course, we have Nita Ambani, who's always known for her gracious jewelry, especially all her emerald pieces. Even for her look, if you see, she's wearing a beautiful emerald necklace, but at the same time, she's kept it very simple and very minimalistic, on her ears. Next, we have a celebrity who's wearing a long pair of earrings. Now, in this case, she's not wearing anything on her necklace, because again, the balance has to be there. Her earrings are long, but her neckline is completely bare. And again, out here, we have a beautiful necklace, but again, kept very minimal on the earring. So that's what it is. A balance is extremely important in no matter whether it's a personal life, you need to have a work balance between work and your profession. Similarly, when it comes to jewelry, also one needs to keep a balance between what they're wearing. Yeah? Would anybody like to ask anything? Yeah? Anyone? No? Or would you like to share something? It's a dual-way conversation, so we all have to be a little interactive with one another, so I can even share some more point of view with all of you all. Anything? It's a last day, it's almost the end of the day, so we all are very relaxed and chilled out, so we can have a very casual conversation. I would love to hear your point of view. Yeah? Yeah.
You said that the second lady on the top, she have a minimal earrings, but yeah, compared to the necklace, they are minimal. But
no, her necklace is very, very big.
Yeah.
The lady, the Indian lady, right? Yeah, her necklace gets the attention because the emerald she's wearing is also very powerful and is big emeralds that she's wearing. Yeah. But to balance out her look, she's kept her earring very minimal. She's not wearing, like when I say minimal, I mean she's not wearing something long.
Perfect.
The lengthwise, she's balanced it out. So anybody watching her, they know the tension will directly fall on a necklace. Versus if she's wearing a longer earring, then it's too much. So that's why I said sometimes less is more.
Perfect.
Yes?
Thank you.
With pleasure. Yes.
I don't know how relevant it is, but the lady in black on the right, is she wearing two necklaces, one on top of
No.
the other?
No,
It's one.
It's one.
Ah, okay.
It's one necklace, yeah.
I see.
But even if, has she been wearing two necklaces, but it just gives an illusion of one piece. Yeah, so this is also a great example of transformable jewelry, where you wear two pieces of jewelry. For this occasion, maybe this occasion demands, say, for example, for her to club in two pieces of jewelry to give a much grander look. But has she, if she had to go for a smaller event or a smaller gathering with friends, she could have just worn like one simple line. So that's a great example. In fact, I'm glad that you just brought this to our attention. It's a great example of a transformable piece of jewelry. And that's something which is absolutely trending now, to like wear one piece of jewelry in more than one ways. Yeah? Do you have any questions? Yeah? Yeah? Yes.
So, of course, it's more for the females.
Yes.
But I just want to understand that does it really matter, like when a person is actually going to the retail jewelry store?
Yes.
And is it explained, or is it something for self knowledge and awareness?
Sorry, I didn't understand your question.
I'm sorry. So, if a client is going to the retail store,
Yes.
I mean, is it something which is explained to the client?
So now I understand your question. So probably you are a jeweler and you have a retail store, say for example, and now you have clients coming in. So now what I'm sharing with you is important for you to put it forward to your clients, because if your client is coming to you and she, and then so you first see her face cut. Once you see her face cut, then you can recommend what kind of earrings should she wear, what kind of necklace can she wear. Of course, you will suggest her, but eventually it's her call and her decision what she wants to buy. So you as a retailer and you as somebody who's standing on the other side of the counter, it's your responsibility and duty to have an idea. What should I share with my client? How could you help them to like make the right choice? And for that, it's very important, even for a retailer or for somebody behind the counter, to have an idea as to what kind of jewelry should they propose to their clients coming in. So this conversation is not just about women who wear jewelry. This conversation is also good for a manufacturer who like makes different kinds of jewelry. It's important for a retailer to propose the idea to the prospective client walking in. And even for a manufacturer, you have so many retailers coming in. So you can suggest to a retailer that, these are the kind of collections I've made, keeping this face cut in mind. So this helps from you to a retailer to the end consumer. So see, it's a cycle that we all are talking about. Yeah? Perfect. So moving on, I'm going to be talking about different necklines. It's also very important to choose your piece of jewelry, keeping in mind what neckline are you wearing. Because you don't want to clutter your neckline. You want your neckline to be seen as gracefully as what your jewelry should be seen. So here are a few examples of different neckline. So to begin with, I'm going to talk about my neckline. Since I'm wearing like a collar things, of course, I need to wear something that is not too cluttered or too covered. So this choker is perfect, and this choker is made by this brand which is Teresi, and of course I've gotten a lot of compliments, so since I'm walking around the show, so thank you. So this is a perfect necklace, for my kind of outfit, which has a collar. It's minimal, but yet it's a big statement piece, in its own way. And it's not cluttering myself, with my collars or anything. It's looking classy and it's looking very elegant, and it's, and it's speaking for himself. So this is about a collared piece. Moving on, we all ladies love to dress up, and there are different necklines. Like you are wearing probably like a V neckline, right? So what do you think would be perfect for your, say in a situation you're going for a casual coffee meeting to a formal wedding get together. How would you style yourself with a V neckline?
I don't have it today, but I will use a necklace just like I have, with maybe a pearl cup, gemstone or diamond.
Yes.
Just for a normal
Yes.
out. For an event, I maybe will layer a tennis necklace with also a pendant,
Right.
with another necklace.
with something more heavier.
Yeah.
So basically, if you're wearing something V neck, I will try to even fit my necklace within my V outline. So nothing too short, nothing too long. Then it gets all cluttered up, right? So we'll keep it very simple, at the same time very classy. Then if you're talking about like a crew neckline, okay? So again, I don't want to clutter my neckline with my jewelry piece. I will appropriately choose, like as you can see in the first image, that's a crew neckline. So very appropriately, I've chosen like a mid-length. So that way, the eyes attention is maintained on the neck, on the face, and also on the jewelry. Right? And versus if I'm wearing something very long, then the attention is like just dispersed all over. Next, we have a V neckline, which I already spoke to you about. Collared one, I just gave you an example of what I'm wearing. And generally, since I'm always in power suit, so I will wear something very simple, very dainty. So that, it just balances it off completely. And then, of course, we have an off-shoulder. So when I'm wearing something off-shoulder for a party, I want to show my collarbones. I want to show my nice bare neck. So in this case, I'm going to be wearing something which is just falling on my crew neckline, yeah? So again, something very simple, something very dainty. And moving forward is a sweetheart necklace. So again, the tension has to be there. Yeah, sorry, you're saying something.
Yes, I have a black dress that has a neckline which is not depicted on here. So
What is a neckline?
It's not off the shoulder, but it's very straight. It's kind of like a collar across.
Like a ruffle? It falls? It folds?
Yeah, like a very, very small ruffle, but yeah.
Okay, so I think then anyway, since your dress is so powerful, there's a lot of detailing out here. So you will probably wear like a simple necklace or a simple choker. Because you, of course, cannot wear something long. Because if you wear something long, it will clutter up between your neckline and the jewelry. So that will be a complete mess where the person looking at you won't be able to figure out whether to like have a eye contact with you or your necklace or your dress. So when you choose something, the attention has to be given to your dress, of course. It has to be given to your neckline, of course, and also to your face. There has to be complete balance in everything that you carry out. But the most importantly, your smile, because that's when if you're smiling from your heart, that's what anything that you wear will be of a great attention to anyone. Yeah? So anything else? Okay, so we spoke about neckline. And here, these are a few different examples of a crew neckline as you've seen out here. So again, she's kept it very minimal out here and just simple earrings. And even in the first one, there is nothing on the necklace. So sometimes not necessary that you have to wear. Since you mentioned about your outfit and your necklace has a lot of detailing, not necessary you have to wear a necklace. Sometimes you can just go for simple earrings. That's about it. Like maybe like these length, they are perfect. So, or could be like a simple stud, anything. So there's no fixed formula that I need to wear a necklace and I need to wear a earring and I need to wear a ring and I need to wear a bracelet. No, it depends on totally as to how you feel, of course, and also it needs to complement your personality and your outfit. Yeah. So this is about a crew neckline, about a V neckline I already mentioned to you, yeah. Then collared neckline, again, this is a perfect example. Like something similar is what I'm wearing. It's just perfect. But at the same time, if I had to wear something long, would have been a complete mess because then my lapels and my necklace would have been a complete clash, so it wouldn't have looked nice. So moving forward, and here the other great example on a collared blazer, she's just wearing earrings. So that's what I was telling you. You don't necessarily have to wear a necklace. Sometimes less is more. Yeah. And about off-shoulder, again, great examples. Either you wear a long pair of earrings or you just wear like a big masterpiece of necklace. That's about it. And this is also a great styling idea, as we can see this Indian actress out here, she's wearing a nice bandana. So maybe the necklace is what got converted to a bandana and she's carrying it so well. So eventually it's like how you carry yourself no matter what you wear. Yes, please.
About the picture on the left, would you say that jewelry is balanced? Because what you spoke about earlier with the big necklace, but also the long earrings?
Which one are you talking about? This one?
No, the one with the necklace.
This one, okay,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, sorry. So I didn't get your question. What you saying? Can you repeat your question, please?
You were talking earlier about balance in jewelry, and
Yes.
What you said about the necklace that draws the attention, then you shouldn't wear long earrings. Would you say this look is balanced or not?
So this, I'm glad that you brought this attention of, because this was an image that we deliberately kept to show that this looks like a complete no-no. Because here the tension is on the necklace, and if you see her outfit, there is white, there is black, her necklace is very covered, her earrings are very long. So there's a lot happening. So I'm very glad that you brought this attention, because I was just about to like point this out, that this is not a great example. Yeah? Great. Moving on. So this is another great example of a sweetheart neckline, where she just kept it very simple. And, oops. Yeah. And now moving on, we spoke about styling. Yes.
One more question for the necklaces.
Yes.
So if you have a very short neck, what would you then recommend?
A
So
very
that-
short neck, yeah? So, it depends on the occasion, what the occasion is and what the person is wearing, what your client would be wearing. Then you could recommend. So sometimes maybe like a simple choker would be nice, or a pendant falling down. So if a pendant falls down, at least that will add more length to a necklace. And of course, then a earring will do the trick of. And that's again a very interesting question, because I'm sure most of the clients coming to you have short necklace, short neckline or a longer neckline. So, and also, when you wear a shorter neck, when you have a short neck, then you try to wear something which is a little bare open. So at least that will add more length to your neckline. But if I have a short neck, and if I'm wearing something very, very close, very covered, my neck will look more shorter. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone, any more questions? No? Okay. So next we move on about choosing your solitaire engagement ring. So again, this is great important, because it's very, very important to know your finger type and then to choose your solitaire diamonds. Now, since we all are from the jewelry and the industry background, would anybody want to say that what sort of fingers would complement, say, to a round brilliant cut diamond? I know the answers are already given out there, but nonetheless. Sarah, would you like to say something about, since you're also from the diamond industry and you are a designer yourself and you have clients coming in, so if a client wants to add length to their fingers, because some clients may have short fingers, healthy fingers, wider fingers. So if a client comes to you and tells you, listen, hey, what diamond shape would you recommend? Would you like to share your inputs, please?
Yeah, usually if you want your finger to look a little bit longer
Yes.
and thinner,
Yes.
then oval is the right choice.
Yes.
And I always tell them oval is also a little bit cheaper than the
Yes.
round brilliant cut, because it's like super in demand. Everyone wants round brilliant. I think 80% of the jewelry is made with round
Right.
brilliant cuts. So
Right.
yeah.
So along with oval, marquise is also a great choice, because if you have short fingers, marquise will also add more length to your finger. So that's a great choice. And of course, round brilliant cut diamonds are the most popular cut diamonds everybody wants. Yeah. So again, if you have like longer fingers, then you can choose a round brilliant cut. But again, there is no fixed formula that I have short fingers, so I need to use marquise or I need to use oval cut. It's eventually your calling. What you feel good from inside is what you will be wearing. So, and if supposing heart shape is my favorite cut, then no matter what my finger type would be, but I would go for a heart shaped diamond. Yeah. Anybody has any preference in the diamond cut, or have recently thought about maybe investing in some diamond cut, keeping your fingers type in mind? You want to add on to something? Yeah.
Hi, thank you. Your talk is very inspiring.
Thank you.
No, I just got engagement ring last year. I got to choose it myself since I'm a goldsmith, so I did it myself.
Nice.
And I went for a princess cut, because
Okay.
I also thought that, because I see the round ones every day,
Right.
something more outstanding would be nice.
Yes.
And I really, really adore the oval ones.
Yes.
So, but it's a really good point to go to analyze your clients or your finger first
Yes.
before you choose
Yeah.
the actual form.
Yeah. It's
Thank
very,
you.
it's very important, because that will just, get you more clarity also. What kind of what shape of diamond would you like to invest in? Yeah. And so this was a little bit about the different shapes, and then we talk about jewelry trends. Of course, we see a lot of colors, and colors, because colors always make us feel happy. And also colors hold a great significance according to two different cultures. Like, I come from India, so in India anyways, a lot of emphasis is given on color, especially when it comes to emeralds. It's a hot favorite. And if you're, say, from Persia, then is turquoise. The turquoise is a very important stone. So it's always a good factor to add some colors. And of course, TDC always has a good colorful jewelry. So would you want to add as to why do you make so many colorful jewelries? Yeah. Because I know that's one of your USPs, right? Yeah.
No, we really believe in colorful jewelry as just for a lot of people's skin tone.
Yes.
Just diamonds is too plain, and adding a little bit of color to that, just vibrant,
yes,
and makes it more alive.
Yes,
the piece
absolutely. Itself. Yes, absolutely. So colors is a great trend that we have been seeing, and in fact, lots of high jewelry maison, whether it's Cartier, whether it's Bulgari, whether it's Chaumet, they all are putting in a lot of color. And we have a lot of mines which have come up, like now we have aquamarine gaining a lot of popularity. Paraiba tourmaline is there, rubellite is there, tanzanite is there. Initially, when we spoke about colored gemstones, they were ruby, sapphires, emeralds, yeah. But now with the discovery of the new mines and also about what social media has done in terms of creating more awareness, we see a lot of colorful stuff. We have colorful tourmalines, we have colorful sapphires. So there's a lot of variety, and Mother Nature offers everything to us, yeah. So we are running short of time, right, Lauren? We are good? Okay. So these are a few examples of colorful jewelry that we have seen. And next big trend that I have seen is about layering and stacking. Would anybody want to, since you're a goldsmith, let's hear from you. I'm putting anything that you want to talk about layering and stacking, or anybody.
Yeah, like it became more and more popular during the last years, also because like for every occasion you get like an engagement ring, you get your wedding ring, you
Yes.
love them to go together, then the first baby's born, second one. So you keep on adding. Also
Wow.
like big purchases, like the once in a lifetime €10,000 ring is not so much a thing in our generation, I would say. Like we
Right.
go for more smaller investments and more occasionally. So yes, like I personally, we do love, like, show your hand. We like stacking
Nice.
big things.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, but like in the day-to-day life in the branch, it's more like common to do like the more like a solitaire, a memoir,
Nice.
another memoir.
Wow. And that's a great example, that we all purchase a lot of jewelry during different occasions in our life, whether it's a birthday, it's an anniversary, baby is born. So you keep on buying and you keep on stacking yourself. That's the best way of like displaying all the jewels that you also purchase. Yes.
When it comes to adding bracelets to bracelets you already have, we always pay attention to the sound, to what noise it creates when you wear them, because that's something you don't really notice when buying it, but in your daily life it can really drive you crazy if it's not pleasant.
So that's a very personal choice. Like for me, when I stack up my bracelet, I love the sound of it. So, but for someone who doesn't like the sound of it, then probably you would go with one or two. So I think it's a very personal choice. And in India, we have this tradition of wearing a lot of bangles, like a lot of bracelets for any occasion, any festival. So, since childhood, I've always loved stacking myself up and then deliberately making that noise because I just love the sound of my jewelry. So I think it's a very personal choice. But yes, if you're a sort of person who doesn't like sound, gets distracted, then of course, that's what I said. There is no fixed formula for jewelry styling or trends. You wear what gives you the most comfort. Yeah. So anything, yeah. So then talking about layering and styling again, it's about going from AM to PM. I'm at a corporate event. I just wear one bracelet or I just wear one necklace, but I need to go for a much formal dinner. So then in that case, I will layer myself up. So to just add on more formal look as per the occasion. Alina, would you like to share something about layering and stacking? Yes.
I want to ask you about ear cuffs.
Okay. Oh.
How do you like ear cuffs, and do you have your ideas about ear cuffs? Like,
Yes.
do you love to layer them too, or?
No, so ear cuffs is something that's a statement piece by themselves, you know. So when you're wearing a ear cuff, probably it's going to be filling your entire ear, right? So in this case, you of course cannot add on more, you know, because it will just look too much. So let your ear cuff do all the talking. Of course, in that case, your hairstyle will change. You will try and tie up your hair. So the tension when you walk into a party or when you're having a conversation with someone, you know, when somebody's looking at a side profile, the tension comes on your ear cuff. And nowadays, of course, there are ear climbers. There are different types of ear cuffs where on one ear, you'll wear a big ear cuff and on the other one, you'll just wear a simple stud. So again, these are just a conversation piece and a great piece that attracts and gets all the attention.
And what's your favorite piece in your collection? Because
So-
I guess you have a lot of beautiful
Yes.
things.
So of course, you know, since I'm always spoiled for choices, since going to all the trade shows, I get to see such beautiful jewelry. But for me, I think I'm a very minimalistic person. I'll be happy with my simple diamond solitaire. So that's something which I'll always wear. But when I'm traveling, I don't really travel with a lot of jewelry except for my nose pin, because I know that's one solitaire which is always with me and on me. But otherwise, of course, and besides solitaire, I dress up as per the occasion. And since in India, when it comes to big occasion, weddings, you have to dress up and you have to look glamorous because that's the culture and the tradition. That's where I come from. So it's all occasional. And we love wearing jewelry.
So I want to ask you, if I am invited for a wedding, what would be the best choice for me to wear?
So, see, again, there is no fixed formula of what you have to wear a lot of jewelry, because, say, if you're coming to India for a wedding, just because it's in our culture to wear a lot of jewelry, that does not mean you have to wear it. You want to wear it, then of course, more than welcome, be our guest. I will take you to the best jewelry store in Bombay and make you purchase the most exclusive jewelry. So yeah, so again, it's a very personal choice, you know, totally personal choice, you know, as to what you feel comfortable and confident from inside. Yes, my dear.
Sorry for the many questions. I was wondering, is skin tone also relevant when it comes to jewelry,
Yes.
when it comes to metal color as well as
Yes,
stone
very,
color?
very, very important point. Yes, skin tone is also very, very important. You know, because like if you have like I know for the fact on my kind of skin tone, whether it's rose gold, whether it's white gold, whether it's yellow gold, everything will look nice. But if you're on a darker skin tone, then of course you need to select your metal tone appropriately and also your gemstones. You know, like things should spark up, you know, once you wear a piece of jewelry. And similarly, if you're more on the whiter tone, then you need to choose your metal type appropriately. And also it depends on your outfit. Whether if you're wearing a necklace, whether the necklace is fitting on your neck or is fitting on your t-shirt, for example. If it's fitting on your t-shirt, then you're good. Then you're good to wear any tone of metal, for example. So when that is a great important point as to whether it's sitting on your skin or whether it's sitting on an outfit of yours. Yeah? Okay, so I think we are almost done. The next is about cultural significance. You know, we all have come from different backgrounds, come from different cultures, so we all have a cultural significance. So that's also one of the trends which is gaining a lot of popularity. And here I've spoken about Hamsa. You know, when you're in the Middle East, I've spoken about the crescent. So that's a great cultural significance. Then mixed metals, that's where your question was. So a lot of mixing of metal has come up. White gold, titanium, you know, platinum, silver. Since gold has gained a lot, it has become a lot more expensive. So these are a few examples of mixed metals. Pearls has gained a lot of popularity, you know, especially when it comes to the Indian royal family. The Indian royal family and the Maharajas are known for the pearl jewelry. And even now, if you go in the Middle East or if you see the royal family, whether it's the Queen of England or it's the Maharajas of India, they all have exquisite pearl jewelry. We speak briefly about versatility. Since you spoke about transformable jewelry, right? From like one necklace, it can be worn into two different types of necklace. That's a great example of versatility. Here we see Princess Diana. She's wearing that it as a choker, and she's also wearing it as a bandana. So it's about styling it differently. Then again, a great piece of versatile jewelry is this brooch by Boucheron, where it can be worn by the male of the family as a brooch, or it can also be worn as a hair accessory, or it can also be worn as a pendant. These are great example of versatility, where one piece of jewelry can be worn in different types and different occasion as per what the occasion is. And these are great. So versatility is something which hasn't come into existence now. It has been there since century. So trends are something which are not created now, but they have been, we have been following them since many centuries. So again, a great example of versatility. And these are a few examples of versatility. Yeah, so that's about it. And so besides talking about gems and jewelry, I also curate a lot of jewelry and educative and informative tour. And recently my tour was at the diamond mine in Botswana, where Sarah was one of the members who had come, where we went to Botswana and we experienced the whole journey of how diamonds are procured from Mother Nature and the whole process that goes behind it. So believe me, all that we wear, there's a lot of story that goes behind it, how it is sourced and about ethical mining, which is very, very important to communicate that with your audience with complete honesty. So I did a trip to Sri Lanka where we went for sapphire mining. I did a trip in Danat where we went for pearl diving in the oceans and we picked up the oysters. This is a few glimpses of my sapphire trip. And yeah, a little bit of stuff that we have been doing by visiting many trade shows and meeting all you wonderful people. So that's a small little thing. If anybody has any questions, please do let me know. Yeah.
Thank you, Reenu.
Thank you. Anybody? No? All good? You have a question? Nope.
I
Okay,
think we're,
perfect.
We're up on time, but I'm sure you'll still be here for a few minutes if people have questions. they can
with
come
pleasure.
and see you. Thank you so much for
Okay,
this.
perfect. Thank you. You guys
very-
have been so lovely. Thank you. And thank you for all the questions that you all have asked me.
And thank you so much to the technical team, the interpreters, and our team here as well for all their help today.
Teamwork. It's a
a
whole
whole teamwork. So
teamwork.
thank
Okay.
you. And also
Thank
to
you.
the speakers.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Great.